and Hailey Bieber having kids. They're pregnant now, wanting to have a tribe. Does this counter some of the negativity we see elsewhere?
Absolutely. I think this is a very positive thing. I think the more that we start to see a lot of the celebrities that, me and Daisy kind of grew up with start to get married and have children, it's going to encourage other Gen Zers in that counterculture side to also get married and have kids. We've also seen indications that the marriage rates have been increasing and the divorce rates have been decreasing. It is still a very slim, improvement, but an improvement is an improvement. And I think that this can be an entirely big shift within our generation to continue to get married and have children. And the more that we see celebrities embracing motherhood and staying married, that's just going to then have a lasting impact on our generation. So absolutely, I want to see more Gen Zers look up to celebrities in this way and be like, you know what, maybe I do want to get married. Maybe I do want to have children and have a spouse.
I really think that that's what we're seeing. I mean, you said celebrities that you and I grew up watching. Vanessa Hudgens just got married. She's having a baby. I think Hilary Duff just had her third or fourth child. And also, like, the Sophia Richie wedding was a huge topic this past year. She converted to Judaism, and her husband are both super religious, and they're having their first baby. And she also, a reason it was a big cultural phenomenon was because she's very, very modest. And everyone started dressing that way after her wedding happened, and people were obsessed with her. Like Kylie Jenner started dressing a lot more modestly. Everyone was kind of leaning into the trad wife, which is becoming a huge trend on TikTok. And I know
sourdough era has entered the chat.
Morgan and I are both making sourdough bread
on our sourdough journeys.
I think people are starting to really enjoy becoming homemakers, and that's becoming more of a trend. But then when a religious white guy says it, everyone immediately hates it.
Right. It's only okay when the women say, hey, I actually do want to be at home. I do want to be a mother. Then it's okay to encourage that. And I think the Sophia Richie era, and talking about fashion, a lot of the fast fashion now has been on the decrease, and embracing more modesty, more timeless classic looks has been the influencer culture, which has then, I think, propelled even into dating, because women are tired of hookup culture and they're wanting to embrace something that's longer lasting.
And I think an important thing to bring up on the Justin and Hailey topic, which Live Action's done a lot of talking about this too. Justin Bieber's mom was very open about the fact, I think she got pregnant when she was a teenager. And she has said she was really encouraged to get an abortion, and she knew that she couldn't. She knew that was not the choice that she wanted to make. And everyone talks about what an amazing story it is that she didn't have an abortion, and now the culture has Justin Bieber, who has made so much music and has so many fans and is so beloved. And then he talks about how important it is for him to have a family. Obviously, there's the very Hollywood woke language in all of his statements, like it's Hailey's choice, Hailey's body, however many babies she wants to have. But I do think that that is closer to what we want to see.
Joe Bob, you have a tribe. What's your reaction to this? Yeah,
small little one, and I'm super excited about it. Now, one thing I'm thinking about here, especially given kind of this cultural shift that Morgan and Daisy have been talking about, is one, I agree with it, and two, this is where I don't know if I necessarily butt heads, but I'm super optimistic about the conservative push into the mainstream culture. And sometimes, people on the conservative side of the aisle disagree with my optimism here. But I also think, and also too, I'm not sure how much I should talk about this publicly, because I think a lot of it goes on behind the scenes, but we have the ability to go and snag some of these massive cultural figures using our, kind of just tentacles into their lives. Remember, Hailey Bieber's dad was a big-time Trump supporter, and you don't think that they had any conversations in the family like outside of the public eye, not necessarily about Trump, but probably conservative values. If you remember Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner or whatever, despite, the whole trans thing, very, very hardcore fiscal conservative. The Kardashian family as a whole has that kind of in their back pocket too. And the list goes on and on and on about all of these like conservative tentacles reaching into these very, very powerful celebrity types. And I, being the ever optimist, think that we can effectively go in and snag a lot of those people and convince them to come over to our side because, you know, our ideas are better and we live our lives better and we have more fun. And so I think that that's possible. And kind of, you know, Justin and Haley having a baby, I think is a great step in the right direction. Now, are they going to come out and endorse the politicians we want? Probably not. But like Daisy and Morgan were saying, it's a good thing for the culture to see what a good example of a married, happy couple looks like.
I totally agree. And on that note, where you're talking about going in and grabbing the culture, Charlie probably wouldn't love me bringing this up, but, you know, he got a ton of controversy recently, and Morgan and Daisy, you'll remember this, when he said that, you know, we're feeding these lies to young women and, you know, they're putting their career first. Then they find out when they're 30 that the dating pools, and by the way, he said less attractive in the dating pool. And, you know, people took it like saying that 30-year-old women can't be beautiful or something. That's not what he was saying. It's a fact. And by the way, when that clip, you know, surfaced, I went and looked up and it was like 12. I found like a dozen left-leaning sites that all said, it can be really hard to find your husband when you're in your 30s because you put your career first. Here's some tips and tricks. Like but to your point earlier, I think, Daisy, you said this, it's only offensive when a Christian white man says the truth. Is this, if we're going to reach more culture, should you know, is it strategically wise to have people like Morgan out front and Allie Beth Stuckey and all, you know, this growing cadre of women that are into this trad wife, that are into these traditional values? Do you guys need to be the tip of the spear? Do we just, Christian white men, need to shut up? Like, I kind of hate that, but seems to cause a big stir when we get in the mix.
I think there's a part of it, and I think, Morgan, you've been seeing the same thing on your TikTok and Instagram after the Harrison Butker thing. Everyone that's upset is like single white women in their 30s for the most part. And I really do believe that it's because deep down they know it's true and they have to be defensive, because if they don't believe that this is true, then that means that they've actually bought into the lies that they're being told. And that would mean that they have wasted some of their time. If these are lies that they're being fed, then they have to believe that they're true, or else they're in for a different reality.
Well, it's been decades of feminists reprogramming our generation to actually believe these lies that they've been spoon-fed their whole lives. So the only way, I think, to actually do a lot of the reversing is for young women like myself to speak out to these women, because a lot of the women, they're not going to listen to a Christian man like Harrison Butker, but they are more likely to listen to someone like me who's saying, get off your birth control, you need a change.